Right, hello everybody. How are you doing on this rather windy Wednesday? We're all pretty good over here. I've just took Twyla over to the farm to see Peter, so we're going to have a nice evening watching TV and eating snacks. What have you guys been up to? Have you been doing anything good? How was your Easter? Did you get lots of eggs? Did your dogs have lots of treats and things? Hopefully they didn't get any chocolate. Twyla almost got some chocolate. It's a bit of a confession. There was a chocolate bar left out on the sofa, and she thank God she wiggles, right? Because when she steals things, she starts wiggling, so we know that she's got stuff. But yeah, she'd picked up a whole bar of chocolate that somebody had left out on the side, so that kind of reminded me and reminded me to remind you guys that we just always be careful, be mindful of what your dog can and can't pick up, because even if you don't think that they're going to steal something, possibly they will. Okay, so we were really lucky because she actually wiggled off with it, and I actually heard her unwrapping the bar. So it was that close, literally, to her literally eating a big bar of chocolates. But we got away with it, thankfully. And the punishment for leaving the chocolate out was that the chocolate got put in the bin. So the person who left it out didn't get it. And I would like to say that wasn't me, because I never leave chocolate laying anywhere, as you can imagine. So I was going to talk to you guys this week about socialization in older dogs. So I went to see a puppy this week actually, and he's 8 months. So although he's not exactly an older dog, it still comes under older dogs when it comes to socialization, because usually when we're socializing puppies, we have a window up until they're about 16 weeks old where they absorb absolutely everything. They're like little sponges. And it's during that time that we try and introduce them to the world in a way that they get lots and lots of positive experiences, so that as they grow older, they expect things to be nice. They expect things to be okay. They grow up quite optimistic. Puppies who have not been socialized properly during that time, sometimes they can have bad experiences. So their socialization can go the other way. It can mean that they're actually quite fearful. Sometimes, if they've been particularly poorly through that stage and there's nothing that the dog parent could have actually done about it, they can still use that negative experience as as their outlook on life as well. And what can tend to happen is whatever the dogs have experienced during those first 16 weeks, it stays with them as they get older. So they learn, like we learn as children. We learn about ourselves. We learn about what things we like, what things we don't like, who's nice, what's safe, what tastes good, what doesn't taste good. We learn all these things. Puppies learn exactly the same way, and they're literally like little sponges. So with puppies, it used to be said that, well, you'd basically be given a list. You'd go to your puppy training classes and you'd be given a list of 200 different things your dog should experience in the past 16 weeks. And it might be like a man with a hat, a man with a beard, a man pushing the bin, a woman with a pushchair, and you'd have all these things that you were expected to go and show your dog. And we don't really do that these days. What we tend to do instead is we think in terms of what the dog's actually going to experience through their lives, and we want to concentrate on socializing them to that. And so for us, for example, if we had a list of animals that we were going to socialize dogs with, Twyla's probably never going to see a pig in her whole life, so that's one that we definitely don't need to. But horses, for example, she sees them all the time. We're in Newmarket, so horses is definitely something she needs to be exposed to. So we tend to think of it in terms of what the dog's actually going to see in their lives and how we want them to react. So with how we want them to react, that is actually really, really key to how we socialize them. Because if we were just to go waving our dogs up to absolutely everything and they were worried about that thing, and we just, if the dog was worried about horses and we just held the puppy up into their face and, I had a look at them, they're going to grow up thinking that horses are actually really quite scary and traumatic. Yeah. But if then similarly with people, like the dog that I saw this week, he loves people. He loves them too much. Okay, and what actually happens is he gets so excited, he spins on the end of his lead and he's jumping up and down and he's trying to pull and he's getting so excited. And he's poor human, she's lovely, and she's so worried that he's going to dive out in the road and hurt himself, or something bad's going to happen. But at the same time, she doesn't want to extinguish his love for people, so we're not going to tell him off and keep dragging him back all the time. Now, the good thing is, I mean, it just means that probably he was really, really cute as a puppy and people probably fussed him, or the other way it could have been is that maybe he was protected from people quite a bit. So he was frustrated. He couldn't necessarily get to see them. So now when he sees people, he's so excited and so friendly and he just wants to go and see them, that he can't control himself. He doesn't know what to do. So the answer to that is still socialization. So although when puppies are 16 weeks or so, their brain it slows down a little bit. They're learning in their social skills. It slows right down. What happens is the dog is still learning every day for the rest of their life. So every day something could happen that might put them off dogs. Every day something could happen that might decide that actually they're a bit worried about cars, or they're a bit overexcited when they see sheep, or every single day they have new experiences, new smells, new sights, new things happen all the time. So they're constantly learning. So life is one big socialization period, really. It just, when they're older, it takes a little bit longer and we just have to manage it more carefully than we do when they're puppies. So with the dog that we're seeing this week, with him, we are going to gradually expose him. In fact, we've already started, to people, but at a distance whereby he's seeing people, nothing exciting happens, and he gets rewarded and he's been playing with his mum. And, so it's very much like doing the engage, disengage game, actually. You know how we treat dogs that are worried about triggers? With this, we want him to be not bothered about triggers. We want him to see a person and go, oh, it's all the way over there and I'm playing with my mum, so we're going to do this instead. And the more he practices doing that, so he's allowed to look and he's allowed to see things from a distance, but we're keeping him across the road from people, we're keeping him across a green from people. The more that we do that, the more he's seeing people, he's getting used to people, he's getting information that people are not that exciting, they're not that scary, they're not that wonderful, they're just there. And in the meantime, he's having a wonderful time playing ball and getting treats and hopping up and down on benches and doing whatever with his mum. So he's effectively learning to be uninterested in people. And what will happen is the more he's uninterested in them at a distance, he will slowly get better at being uninterested in them when they're a little bit closer, because he's already seen what they do. He's already seen how they move. He's already smelt what they smell like. He's already watched them walking around and listened to them talking and, watched children running across the road or babies in the pushchairs. If he's already seen all those things and they weren't that exciting, then they're not going to be that exciting the next time or the next time or the next time. And the more he sees them, the more he's exposed to them, but nothing exciting happens, nothing fun happens, apart from with his human, the less he's going to care about them being there. Okay. And so it's one of the things that we're always aiming for when we have dogs that are so overexcited by things is, first of all, not to make them more excited by getting them so close that, that they can chase that cat and it is the most fun thing they ever did. They can see the birds and they are the most fluttery, wonderful things to go and play with. The last thing we want to do is we want to confirm to him those things are great. What we want to do is we want to teach him those things are boring, but what we do, what we're doing with him is far more fun. So as always, distance is your friend. When it comes to socialization, distance is what you want. You want your puppies, you want your adult dogs to be able to see people and not care. Okay, you don't want them thinking that every single person's going to come over and pet them. You don't want them thinking that people are going to be nasty to them. You don't want them thinking that other dogs are there for them to go charging into. At the same time, you don't want them to think that other dogs are going to come charging into them. You want them to see things in the distance and just go, yeah, that's okay. That's nice, but I'm playing with my mum or I'm playing with my dad. Okay. And in that way, they will actually be more sociable up close with humans, with dogs, with whatever it is you're socializing them to, because they're not going to be so over the top excited or scared or anything else when that trigger comes along. Okay. So what things does your dog get super excited about? What things could you socialize them to? Cats, birds, planes, we've got strange noises out the back there, lawnmowers, all kinds of things. You know, what can you socialize your dog to at a distance by teaching them that actually that thing's there, you can't get to it, it's not that exciting anyway, let's go and do something that's fun over here. Okay, so that's for your task for the week. What things can you socialize your adult dogs to even more than they already are? Okay, anyway, I shall see you guys next week. Right, bye bye.